This is George, and he just had a wake-up call that changed everything. George turned 25 and realized something terrifying. While all his friends are busy living paycheck to paycheck, he's been completely ignoring his future. He's got maybe $300 saved up in his bank account, but according to the financial experts, he should have $50,000 saved by the time he hits 30. That's right, $50,000 in just 5 short years. Now that sounds absolutely bananas, doesn't it? I mean, 50,000 of anything sounds like an impossible mountain to climb when you're starting from basically zero. But here's the thing that the finance gurus don't want you to know. This isn't some exclusive club for trust fund kids. This is actually achievable for any ordinary person willing to follow a simple plan that works like clockwork. Before we dive into how George can pull this off, let me blow your mind with something. The median cat between 25 and 34 has only $13,000 saved for retirement. That's it. Most people George's age are nowhere near where they should be. So if you're feeling behind, you're definitely not alone. The good news is that means there's a massive opportunity to get ahead of the pack. But why $50,000 by 30? This isn't just some random target that financial advisors pulled out of thin air. This magic number sets you up for something incredible. If George can hit $50,000 by 30, he's positioned to double that money every 7 years through the power of compound interest. That means $100,000 by 37, $200,000 by 44, and potentially over $1 million by his early 60s. Think about that for a second. $1 million, all because he started with $50,000 at 30. It's like planting a tiny seed that grows into an enormous money tree. But here's the catch that most people don't understand. The first $50,000 is by far the hardest part. After that, the money starts working for you instead of you working for the money. Now, you might be thinking this sounds too good to be true. How can George, who's probably making around $50,000 per year, possibly save an entire year's salary in just 5 years? Especially when he's got rent to pay, food to buy, and the occasional splurge. The math seems impossible, right? Wrong. And here's where the simple plan comes in. This isn't about depriving yourself or living like a hermit. It's about following a proven system that thousands of successful people have used before you. The people who figured this out aren't necessarily smarter than George. They just knew the secret formula that we're about to break down. The plan starts with understanding one crucial concept that changes everything. Most people think saving is about willpower. They believe they need to suddenly become super disciplined and resist every temptation. But the people who actually reach $50,000 by 30, they don't rely on willpower at all. They rely on systems that work automatically, even when they're feeling lazy or distracted. The foundation of the entire plan rests on 3 simple pillars that anyone can implement starting today. First, the magic percentage that makes everything possible. Second, the compound interest accelerator that turns small amounts into massive wealth. And third, the automation system that removes human error from the equation entirely. Why most people fail. The real reason most people fail isn't what you'd expect. It's not because they're spending too much on entertainment or splurging on designer clothes. The problem is they're trying to save leftovers instead of saving first. They pay their rent, buy their groceries, cover their entertainment, and then try to save whatever's left over at the end of the month. Spoiler alert, there's never anything left over. But the people who crack the code? They flip this entire system upside down. They pay themselves first, before anyone else gets a single dollar. This is where the magic percentage comes into play, and it's simpler than you think. 20%. That's it. 20% of everything George earns goes directly into savings before he even sees it hit his main account. Now, before you start hyperventilating and thinking 20% is impossible, let me break down the math for you. If George makes $50,000 per year, 20% means he's saving $10,000 annually. Over 5 years, that's exactly $50,000. The math is so clean, it's almost suspicious, right? But here's where most people mess up. They think they need to save 20% from day one. Cold turkey. That's like trying to run a marathon when you've been sitting on the couch all year. It's a recipe for failure and frustration. The smart approach is what we call the escalator method. Start with whatever percentage doesn't make you break out in a cold sweat. Maybe that's 5%, maybe it's 10%. The key is starting, not starting perfectly. Then, every January 1st, bump it up by 2 or 3%. Your lifestyle adjusts gradually, and before you know it, you're hitting that 20% target without feeling like you're living on scraps. The Compound Interest Accelerator. The Compound Interest Accelerator is where things get absolutely wild. Remember how we said the first $50,000 is the hardest? That's because compound interest needs time and money to work its magic. But once it gets rolling, it becomes an unstoppable force. Every dollar George saves starts earning interest. Then the interest starts earning interest. Then the interest on the interest starts earning more interest. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and faster with every rotation. Let's say George puts away just $800 every month starting at 25, with a 7% annual return, which is totally reasonable for long-term investments. He doesn't just end up with $48,000 after 5 years. He ends up with nearly $57,000. That extra $9,000 came from nowhere except the magic of compound growth. The power of automation. The final pillar is automation, and this is what separates the successful people from the wannabes. Willpower is like a muscle that gets tired. Automation never gets tired, never forgets, and never makes excuses. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account on the same day you get paid. Make it happen before you have a chance to spend that money on impulse purchases. But here's the secret weapon that most financial advisors won't tell you about. If your workplace offers a retirement plan with matching contributions, that's literally free money sitting on the table. If your employer matches up to 3% and you're not contributing at least 3%, you're walking away from a guaranteed 100% return on your investment. That's better than any stock market performance in history. George started this journey feeling overwhelmed and behind. But now he understands that $50,000 by 30 isn't just possible, it's inevitable if you follow the system. The escalator method for gradually increasing savings, the compound interest accelerator for exponential growth, and automation to remove human error from the equation. These aren't complicated strategies reserved for financial wizards. These are simple tools that anyone can use starting today. So the next time you see someone stressing about their financial future, remember that George went from $300 to a clear path toward $50,000. It's not about being perfect from day one. It's about being consistent over time and letting the system do the heavy lifting.